all about alternative facts and fake news. Well, what does it mean specifically to you? Well, I think it means you have to think more, be more critical of the things you hear in the media, on Facebook, other social media. It means asking more questions. The alternative, of course, is to borrow from the cliche, we can choose to be as sheep, an easy mark, easily conned, easily manipulated. I mean, each one of us has a choice of how we approach things. It's not that I don't like sheep, by the way, but personally I'm in the critical thinking camp. I'm full of questions. I'm hungry for research and evidence, and certainly not just evidence that supports my point of view. In fact, I seek out alternative evidence and opinions to see if I'm missing something. Now, I've learned that approach the hard way, let's be clear. I've learned it in the investment markets because, for the straightforward reason, in the world of investments, you pay a very easily identifiable price for being wrong. It's called losing money. The alternative approach is making decisions, I think, through emotion. But I'm pretty sure that any experienced investor will tell you that's a sure way to lose. I mean, the moment you open the door to emotions driving your investment decisions, you're in big trouble. Again, I've learned that one the hard way. It's no different with decision-making in other areas. Emotionally driven decision-making gets the root of so much of our dysfunction in society, even violence. And if you're a regular listener to Money Talks, you know that one of our big forecasts since 2014 is an increasing level of civil unrest and violence. And I think it's going to get worse, which is a byproduct, I think, of increasingly emotion-driven discourse. Just look at the anti-Trump protests in the States, where protests have turned violence, vandalism, that kind of stuff. It's been a common occurrence. Violent language was the norm on both sides of the last election. And I don't take it casually, by the way, when a number of prominent people, from Madonna to Joseph Joffe, he's the editor-publisher of the German weekly Die Zeit, I can't pronounce that, who suggests that the easiest way to end the Trump catastrophe, in his words, is to murder the president. Again, I don't think we should take that casually, because I certainly not, because the rhetoric surrounding the U.S. election was so confrontational. In fact, I think the biggest shortcoming and most limiting aspect of Donald Trump's approach is that his first instinct in debate is to be confrontational, and that has consequences, I think, which should be taken seriously. But it all comes back to emotion. I think Stephen Colbert just nailed it when he said, we're a divided nation between those that think with their head and those that know with their heart. That is an irreconcilable difference. Let me give you a quick example from a theme I see in my emails that illustrates the kind of difference you get in this approach. I regularly hear from people who complain about my comments because they say things are not black and white as I make them out to be. Human relations rarely are. Well, I agree with it when it comes to relationships and interaction. Things are not black and white. But that's not the big driver of change right now. When it comes to the topics I regularly deal with, i.e. costs like debt servicing, unfunded pension liabilities, escalating health care costs, most of what's involved in finance, the issues are absolutely black and white. Excuse me, one of the concepts that seems to be beyond the grasp of those that view the world through their little political lens, which tends to be emotion-based, is that the most pressing financial problems are all about math, not politics. They're not nuanced. There's no gray area when it comes to paying your mortgage or credit card interest. I mean, government problems are financial in nature. Ontario is going to be paying $11.4 billion in interest payments regardless of who's in power. The federal government's going to pay out $109 billion in old age security in the year 2030. I mean, that's going to be up about $70 billion from just a few years ago. And it doesn't matter who's in power. What people enamored with politics, especially that big government model, don't seem to understand is that the problems are indeed black and white. There's nothing nuanced about the fact that the unfunded public sector pension liability at the federal level, that taxpayers are on the hook for. The Parliamentary Budget Office, by the way, estimates it at $160 billion. C.D. Howe Institute, that was Finance Minister Bill Morneau's former firm, they estimate that liability is $244 billion, but it doesn't matter which one is accurate, there's going to be huge consequences in terms of taxes and spending, and it makes no difference who's in power at that point. I've been going on about the math of pension for years, by the way, because it's my bet that pension problems are going to lead to the next major discord in society, and they're going to propel changes far more profound than the election of Donald Trump. In the meantime, the black and white issues of sovereign debt, wait till you see the next leg in Europe. It's coming very quickly, I think. You got unhealthy bank balance sheets, unmanageable derivative positions. They're going to ultimately lead to the demise of the European welfare state model. which, again, many Canadians seem to love that model, but they are black and white. The problems are financial. But the point to get is that the black and white of finance and financial reality is going to overwhelm the emotion-driven wishful thinking of politics every time. Although I think those financial problems are going to drive even more emotional response. I mean, just look around. We're living it.